Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Jamie. Jamie is from Alabama, but he lives in Tennessee in the USA. So let's see what Jamie has to say. Enjoy the interview. So, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Well, it's not morning where you are.
No, for me now, it's afternoon.
Well, good afternoon to you. Good sir. I'm just
Thank
really getting going very well this morning. So
I see. Do you consider
yeah.
yourself to be more of a day or night person?
It just depends on the time. I love mornings.
Hmm.
Um, they're peaceful. Um, it's a great time to do some reflecting, I think.
Yes.
But nights are wonderful too. I went out last night and had a wonderful steak
Amazing.
at a restaurant here in Lexington, Kentucky. We have a big basketball game today um, at 4, and so that's why I'm here.
Oh, so you're in Kentucky right now.
Yeah, I'm in Lexington.
Oh, I see. Actually, I had so many guests on the show from there, actually. I had a few
Oh
guests.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, originally I'm from Alabama.
Uh-huh.
I currently live in Nashville, but I have a lot of
In
friends,
Tennessee.
and yeah, I have a lot of friends in Lexington, and I have a great friend that I'm actually staying with, Stevie, and we're going to the basketball game together. He's actually a UK fan.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Amazing.
and so we'll have to put a divider during the game.
So who is playing tonight? Who is playing tonight? Baseball game.
Alabama Crimson Tide, Roll Tide, Roll. I don't know if you've heard that expression before, but Roll Tide, and they're playing the Kentucky Wildcats.
I see. Wow. But is the
So
final or is just a normal game?
it's just a normal game during the season.
Who is supporting?
Crimson Red, all the way. Roll Tide.
Do you think they're gonna win tonight?
Um, do I think we'll win?
Do you think they're gonna win? Yeah. Are you
Well, it's a toss up game because um, I'm a Bammer, so I'm going to always pick Bama,
right?
even when I don't think I should. But tonight is a toss up game. We have a wonderful basketball team. We shoot the ball really well. But Kentucky does some things that are going to give us some challenges, like rebounding. We have struggled rebounding, and Kentucky's a great team when it comes to that. And so um, it'll be a great game. It's in Kentucky, which gives them a home court advantage.
Uh-huh.
If it were in Tuscaloosa, I would say the chances are about 20% UK would win.
I see.
So, but yeah.
Jamie,
Do
so
you like?
tell
Are you a sports guy?
Absolutely. I grew up back in Brazil. I'm originally from Brazil. When I grew up
Oh
playing.
wow.
I mean, I had all the sports like football, basketball as well at the time. I
Yeah.
remember volleyball,
Yeah.
but my passion growing up was volleyball. I played volleyball professionally as
Oh.
a teenager for a few years back in Brazil, and
Oh.
I was traveling a lot, like through my state back in Brazil.
Yeah.
So I was
Yeah.
traveling for the city, I was traveling for the school, so I had like a long schedule, and I loved it. It was amazing
Yeah.
to be able to. And nowadays, my favorite sport to watch is tennis. I love
It's a
tennis.
good one. It's a
Yeah,
good one.
yeah, I love
The
tennis.
only thing about tennis that is a little bit frustrating. It's not really a team sport unless you have doubles. Even
Yeah,
then, it's not really. It's sort of a team, but not really.
yeah.
Um, I love tennis though. Going all the way back to Pete Sampras. You
It's
remember him, Pete Sampras?
yeah. The
Yeah,
he's American or not British?
he's American. Yeah,
Yes, American.
yeah.
So Jamie, so tell me, what do you do for work for living?
Okay, so I actually have two jobs.
Mhm.
I'm a full time hospice chaplain.
Okay.
Are you familiar with hospice?
No, I am not actually.
Okay, so hospice really well. It's been going for a long time, but it really got going. Um, it became very popular in the 70s and 80s as a way to manage people's pain with cancer. People who had a terminal diagnosis of cancer would use hospice to control pain.
Mm-hmm.
But in the last 15 to 20 years, it's been a choice for people who are terminal, who have a 6 months prognosis of 6 months or less, to um, allow them to not pursue what we call aggressive treatment, but comfort care
I
to keep
see.
them comfortable and manageable. Especially now with pain, with access to certain pain medication. It's a red flag, if somebody gets a certain amount. And so with hospice, like your number one goal is to promote peace and control pain. And so it really allows a person that's dealing with a terminal diagnosis to kind of go on their own terms.
I
And
see.
so I provide the spiritual support for people that are navigating those waters. But I'm
Wow.
also was recently, the beginning of this year in January, appointed as a minister at a church in Nashville, Holy Trinity Lutheran Church.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
so that's made for a busy month and a half, but it's been wonderful.
Amazing, amazing. So through the journey, I'm going to explore a little bit more about both of your careers, okay?
Okay.
Jamie, before we start our journey within the magic box, I would like you to tell me something interesting about yourself or something that not many people know about you.
Well, there's not a lot that people don't know about me. I'm pretty out there with the things that are true about me. For example, most people know I'm from Alabama. I love my home state. I'm a huge Dolly Parton fan.
Wow.
Um, yeah, I love Dolly, and that's not a secret. Nobody's gonna be shocked by hearing that, but I think um I love her. The reasons why I love her might not be as discussed, because people know I love her, but not necessarily why. I love that she encourages people to love themselves and to be true to who they feel like they're created to be in this world. And she does it in a way that's respectful of people that have differing opinions. And
Yeah.
so I think that that's a goal that I have for myself, which is to be that kind of presence that allows people to kind of, if they disagree, that's great. I don't think we're all called to agree on everything, but to be respectful and caring, even when somebody doesn't agree with us.
Amazing. Actually, I had an interview with a lovely man not long ago, and he's a big fan of her. And he said something that I didn't know about her. He told me that she opened like an industry or something back in her home to create some jobs.
Yes, absolutely. Dollywood. Come to Dollywood sometime in Tennessee, and we'll go together.
Amazing deal. Can't
You'll
wait.
have somebody, you have somebody that can show you around. I've been a million times, so it's
Uh,
a wonderful place. It actually was a theme park before Dolly. It
Okay,
was called Silver Dollar City, which that was before I was born. But Dolly came in and Dollyized it, and it blew up. Like it's one of the biggest theme parks in the South for sure.
I see. Amazing deal. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to it already.
All right, come on.
Jamie, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Of course.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So
Yeah.
I've got here my best friend. Full of random fun questions, okay? So what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first
Okay.
question, okay?
Okay.
Let's do it. Yes, you always can join me dancing. Right, so
I
before
love
you
it.
doing the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, some reason you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
First question for you is, how would you describe a perfect friendship?
I think a perfect friendship is somebody that you can just trust with anything.
Hmm. Your best friends, they live in Nashville or different parts of the US?
I have uh best friend that lives in Birmingham.
Mm-hmm.
And I have several very close friends that live in Nashville.
Yeah.
And I have several very close friends that live in Kentucky.
Mm,
And
amazing.
so yeah, friends are, I think faith for me is number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then family and friends, are like second to me. I mean, life is about relationships, and having people that you can trust is, with anything on your heart, I think is so important.
Yeah, I believe as well, best friends. You don't go around saying you're going to be my best friend. You're going to be. It doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work that way.
When the connection is there, it's like a relationship. When the chemistry is there, it's a genuine connection that you just connect. That's it, and that's
Yeah,
how a real friendship starts.
that's right.
Next question. Let's do it. Amazing.
I like it.
Next question for you is: what do you consider? What things do you consider to be relationship deal breakers?
Oh, relationship deal breaker. I think somebody that um is not respectful
Hmm.
for my beliefs and convictions. Is a deal breaker. Somebody that doesn't have any convictions, that would be a deal breaker. Um Somebody that is willing to push me.
Hmm.
A lot of people um are not as invested in your success as you are, and I think a relationship, you have to be mutually invested in each other's success.
Yeah, it's like relationship it's a maintenance every single day.
Every day. Oh, for sure.
Challenges will
If
come, beautiful moments will come as well, and you need to manage both. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Together.
absolutely. I mean, I think about the hospice patients that I've worked with that have had great partners. Some will have dementia for a long time, and their spouse is there every day,
Yeah,
taking care of them, making sure they have what they need. And yes, they're supposed to, because it comes with their oath to their spouse, but you don't really have to. You know what I mean? It's not like it's obligatory to a certain degree. But it's so beautiful to see those people who honor their spouse um in those kind of moments, because that's what real love looks like. Being there for someone when they don't even know who they are,
absolutely.
but you're still there for them and care for them. That to me is a beautiful thing.
What's the meaning of love for you?
Oh, love is patient, love is kind, love is never self-centered.
Hmm.
It seeks to delight in the well-being of another. It always hopes the best, wishes for the best, but prepares for things that might not go well.
Yeah, it can be painful, but it's.
Oh,
I think it needs to be painful somehow. You know what I mean? If you don't have this feeling, like it doesn't hit you
no.
sometimes, what's the point?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Oh, exactly.
Next question, Jamie. Let's do it.
I love the dancing.
Before the next question, Jamie, as you mentioned at the beginning of the interview, that this year starts, a journey in your life as a minister in the church. Yeah.
Uh,
So walk me through a little bit about it. How did it started? When come across? Walk me through a little bit about the journey so far.
Yeah. So I grew up Southern Baptist.
Mhm.
Um, Baptist, for those who aren't really that familiar with Baptist, one of the fundamental beliefs that Baptists hold is that we can't earn our salvation by works.
Mhm.
That we're made right with God by our faith and our trust, and that it's nothing of ourselves that makes us right with God. It is God's free gift to us. This is an idea that I learned in my childhood, but sometimes our actions don't match our words. So we sing a song in the Baptist church that just as I am. I come just as I am, right? Just as I am. But we're not really coming just as I am, because as soon as somebody comes that we think we don't like for whatever reason, we say, "Oh, yeah, just as I am, but not you.
I
Just
see.
as I am, but not you." And so really it's asking people to come not as they are, but as you want them to be. And
Right.
so um I considered myself a Baptist for a long time. Even when I was going to a Pentecostal church, I attended, but I really didn't feel fully identify as a Pentecostal. I still felt like I was a Baptist. Well, after I left the Pentecostal church, um, I was kind of seeking out a denomination that I believe that I was more on board with theologically.
Right.
And the ELCA, Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, is rock solid. Christ is always at the center of discussion. Martin Luther, um, who's kind of like the patron saint of Lutherans and for most Protestants in general, actually, his big idea was that we're made right with God not by paying an indulgence or a fee, but we're made right with God by faith. And so that God's righteousness is given to us because of our faith. This is like a rock solid foundational view of Lutherans. But the ELCA is also progressive. We support, by and large, we support female ministers.
Mm-hmm.
We support openly gay clergy.
Wow. Amazing.
We support, we're just progressive in our living out of our orthodoxy. Orthodoxy tends to be very restrictive, but the ELCA is trying to do it in a way that opens space for all people. And
Amazing.
so I started attending with my spouse. I started attending an ELCA church around the time of the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was like 2020, 2021. And I attended Word of Hope, which is in Lexington,
Mm-hmm.
Celebration Lutheran, which is in close to Nashville, Tennessee. I became a member of the table in 2021, 2022, which is the arm of the ELCA that advocates for the acceptance of the rainbow,
Right.
all people, so trans, gay issues. They're the advocacy wing for the ELCA. And I got real involved in that. And then the bishop knew that the current pastor of the church that I'm at was going to move to Washington to pursue a call there, Washington State. And so he thought, why don't I appoint you as a SAM, which is a Synod authorized minister, to lead this church for 1 year, for a 1 year contract, and it can help the church meet their goals and what they need, and it can also help you get experience as a lead minister in a church.
Oh, wow.
And so it's worked really well, and it's been a great relationship. I feel like I've grown tremendously in a month and a half. And
Wow.
so I'm very, very grateful for the opportunity to serve that I've been given. And so it's been a real honor.
Amazing. Wow. When you say spells, you showed your ring. It means your
Yeah,
partner.
correct.
I see. I like this word spells.
Spouse, yes.
Spells.
Yes.
Interesting.
Spouse is married, you're married, but you're committed as one unit.
I see. Interesting.
You know.
Okay. Next question for you is, if you could sit down with your 13 years old self, 13 years old self, what would you say?
Well, I would tell myself that there are many ways to be Christian because when I grew up, um, I really only thought there was one way to think and be Christian. Okay. I knew there were non Christians. I knew there were people who didn't believe, but I wasn't aware of the subtlety that existed within Christianity. I'll give
Mhm.
you one issue baptism. Okay. Are we going to baptize just adults? Are we going to baptize babies? Are we going to immerse? Or are we going to sprinkle? Are we going to do it in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit? Or are we going to baptize in Jesus' name? All these questions have divided Christians for a long time. And so if we just look at that one issue, we know there are many ways to think and be Christian. But for some reason, um, people don't know in general that there are, especially in certain conservative states, that there are many ways to think and also be faithful.
Mhm.
So I would tell my 13-year-old self that you can think and be a lot of different things and still be faithful.
Absolutely. Amazing. And how was for you growing up, back in Alabama? Tell me your childhood memories. Did you have like some memories that you always gonna remember?
I have so many wonderful childhood memories. I mean, I feel very fortunate to have had an amazing childhood. I mean, my family are huge sports people. I remember picking up my first golf club
Mhm.
that my grandfather handed me at a very very early age, and I golfed a lot as a kid.
Wow.
Um, I was a member of athletic teams, sports teams from a very early age. Um, I lived my nanny, who I was very close to. She passed away in 2022, but I have lots of memories and a very close bond with her growing up through the years. But she lived half of the road was paved, and then it ended, and it was a dirt road.
Wow.
And so I remember walking that road, and I'll always get to that spot where the road changed from paved to dirt,
Right.
and I can still vividly remember walking in that road as a kid. And
Wow.
so just so many wonderful memories growing up in Alabama.
Amazing. Very good. Ready for the question?
I'm ready.
L- Do it. Next one. Yeah, you can warm up today now for the game tonight. You can warm
Oh,
up.
I got to do my push-ups to get ready.
Next question is describe yourself in one positive word and one negative word only.
Okay, so the first word would be faithful.
Right?
Okay. Um, a negative word. Um, I would say it's not. Does it have to be one word?
Yeah, one word.
Okay, I would say uh challenging.
Oh.
Okay.
And when you think about yourself, Jamie, when you analyze yourself, what's the best part of being Jamie? What's the best part of being you?
I think that I have a lot of joy,
Mhm.
and I think that the feeling of joy is something that I feel very intensely, and I know in relating and having relationships with all different kinds of people and meeting people in lots of different spaces, that's not something that is shared by everyone. People can be in very dark places in their lives, and so that feeling of joy is something that I really am thankful for.
You come across as a very cheerful person, full of energy. You always been
Yeah.
you always been this way?
Yeah, for the most part I have. I went through some really hard experiences, especially um 10, 15 years ago, trying to figure out like questions about sexuality, and religion, spirituality. Um and it impacted me emotionally for a couple years. But um, what really helped me to maintain that sense of joy after that period was was to have an attitude of gratitude,
Right.
like to be thankful that we get to live in the world today.
Mm-hmm.
We get to be alive today. We get the opportunity to make the most of today, you
Absolutely.
know? And I think when we have that kind of attitude, joy is an extension of that kind of attitude.
When you mention about sexuality, it's something about yourself or something that you're living with, like people around you that wasn't clear and you didn't have support.
I think it's both. It's both and. So I grew up when True Love Waits was really popular. And so sexuality was really not something that we explored at all. I mean, it's only something we explore in marriage. So
Mm-hmm.
I was really kind of lost when it came to sexuality for a long time. And then I also had my own issues with being attracted to the same sex, the same gender,
Mm-hmm.
and what that meant for myself, being somebody who understood the world primarily through my faith lens.
I
And
see.
so how did this experience of being in a body of somebody attracted to primarily the same sex,
Mm-hmm.
how did that impact my Christianity? And that took several years to unpack.
I see. Amazing. But nowadays you are completely, you can express the way you are, you can be your full self, you feel comfortable being yourself right now.
Most always. Now, as a chaplain, my responsibility is not to have an agenda.
Mm-hmm.
I am comfortable being myself, but I would not be comfortable going into a setting uh, and identifying my sexual orientation in
Mm-hmm.
certain spaces because it could negatively impact my ability to provide compassionate spiritual care for somebody who may have a disagreement on a particular issue. It
I
doesn't
see.
have to be just sexuality, it could be any issue.
Sure. Yeah.
I come into that room as a chaplain to take care of that person.
Mm-hmm. I
It's
see.
not about my agenda.
Absolutely.
Now, one of the things I appreciate is uh, being in a church where I can do ministry in the walls of the church because that is different from being a chaplain. When you are a minister in a church, you are responsible for uh, molding, shaping, leading a congregation, helping them sort through spiritual questions and issues. And so that looks different than when you are a chaplain. When you're a chaplain, you're called to serve all people, to love all people. You do it as a minister too, absolutely, no question. But when you are a minister for a particular church denomination, whatever, you are responsible for protecting, encouraging, and leading the people in that building.
I see. When you say chaplain and minister, what's the difference between both?
So a chaplain is a person that is hired to do ministry outside of the walls of a church. It
I
could be
see.
in it could be in a hospital, it
Mm-hmm.
could be in a military, it could be in a hospice or healthcare organization. Police departments have chaplains. The U.S. Congress has a chaplain. But it's any person that's doing ministry else that's but they're not doing it to further a church, if you will. Like they're not doing it, they might do it on behalf of a church. So
Mm-hmm.
Southern Baptists may have chaplains, or Methodists may have chaplains, or Lutherans may have chaplains, but they're not only interested in ministering to people that share their beliefs.
I
They're
see.
there to provide spiritual support for all people.
And to become a chaplain, anyone can become a chaplain. It doesn't matter your sexuality, what you believe or not. There are kind
I
of
think
restrictions.
I think that it depends on your religious what religion or what religious preference you have and who
Mhm.
your endorser is.
Right.
So who is calling you to do the ministry? If it's a conservative church, the church may have an issue with it.
I see.
But in general, it doesn't really matter what you think about sexuality when you're a chaplain because you're going to have to provide care for a gay person, or you're
I
going
see.
to have to provide care for somebody who thinks that that is the worst abomination in the world. You
Wow.
have to be there for both those types of people. And so it's just a very different calling than somebody who is trying to indoctrinate.
I see. Interesting. Wow, I'm learning a lot with you today, Jamie.
Well,
I'm
thank
learning
you.
amazing, amazing.
I'm enjoying my time with you. I appreciate your questions and just the time that we can spend getting to know each other.
Amazing. I'm loving. Amazing, amazing. All right. 3 questions left. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
What's the number of in your shirt? What's the number?
It's number 9.
Number 9.
Yes.
Right. Before the next question, what's the biggest joy of work in a hospice? Yeah. What do you like the most? And the flip side, what do you find most challenging?
Well, I think the thing that fills me with the most joy is the opportunity to be there for people in their last moments of living.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you're one of the last voices they hear, even
Wow.
if you haven't known them their entire lives. You know, you're just now meeting them in that moment where they're passing or in the process of passing away. And I just think it's a tremendous honor to be there for people in that moment. And it fills me with a lot of joy. The flip side of that is we think a lot about death and dying,
Oh,
and I think that it can you see the darker parts of being a human. You know, like losing control over your body,
right.
um, people's body breaking down, and it can be not beautiful,
I see.
and it can be hard to see. And so I think those are the challenges of being around it all the time.
It's interesting you sharing that. I had a doctor on the show a while ago, and he's the one. His specialty is the one who signs the paper about when someone, and we talk about death, and he was saying that
Yeah.
it's a moment. Again, it can be a moment like as you just shared now, difficult because as you said, there is this this reaction of the body, but at the same time as well people is going peaceful. You see some peaceful things happening there. It's the passing. It's something there. And I so also, during the interview he kind of explained to me that people see us hard. Of course it's not easy to at the moment, but at the same time as well there's a serenity around as well that comforts the passing process.
Hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Next question is, talking about death. Look, if someone gave you an envelope with your death date inside of it, would you open it or not? And
I would
why?
absolutely not look, because I want to live every day as though it's my last day,
Mhm.
but I want to think that I'm going to live forever.
Oh my God, that would be like a very good, way of knowing that you'll be here forever.
Right. Well, I mean, once you look and you know for sure,
Yeah,
I just think we need to live every day like it could be our last. But we need to also think that we'll live for eternity.
absolutely.
I think those two things are important.
And dying for you is something that bothers you when you think about, or for you, you see just
Dying,
matter of, yeah, dying. When you think about passing, is something that bothers you, scares you, or not?
I think that there are some questions about the dying process that can be hard. for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
But I think when we die, I have a tremendous sense of peace and serenity about not being alive in this physical body anymore.
See.
Um, I think I don't fear death.
Mm-hmm.
I have a certain peace about death and dying.
See.
So, and that might be working around it so much, like I think about my own mortality a lot just because of that.
That's why you live every day as the last day of your life. That's why.
100% every day.
2 questions left. Let's do it. Next question is, what would be your ideal day?
My ideal date.
No, day. Sorry, day.
Day?
Yeah.
Like day of the week
Yeah.
or day of the
Yeah.
year or
When it's like a perfect day for you, like when you think about a
okay,
day.
I'm just gonna say a perfect day for me is a day in the fall. It's a Saturday because there's an Alabama football game on Saturdays, and I love football. Like I love football,
Uh-huh.
especially Alabama football. And I love the weather in the fall. You wake
Uh-huh.
up and it's like a cool, crisp morning.
It's
The
beautiful.
leaves are changing.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful day filled with so much fun and food.
Yeah.
If you've never been to a football game in the South, we tailgate, we eat all day.
It's all day of eating food, nice food.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything in particular or any kind of food?
I really love chips and dip.
Right.
And around football season, you get this really good like rotel, like a cheese dip that has sausage in it, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really eat it in a lot of spaces outside of when I'm watching football, but
Right.
I think it's easy to make and it tastes yummy. And so like I always look forward to that. And maybe chili too. Like chili is another thing that you can have. The third thing is like barbecue. Have you ever had southern barbecue? Like ribs
Yeah.
and even sometimes not barbecue steak. You might go a steak route, but barbecue is really popular as well for football games.
Is your birthday around the fall or not?
It is. So my birthday is the end of November, November 24th.
I'm November 17th. The funny
How
thing
about
is,
that?
yeah, the funny thing is, the fall is my favorite season of the year. You described it very well. This morning, crispy, the change of the leaves. There's something about the autumn, like the fall, that it's beautiful, it's
100%.
magical. It can be melancholic, as people say, but there's something about it. And someone told me once, a long time ago, that you feel very connected with the season when you're born. And for both of us, works very well because I love
Interesting.
fall. Yeah, I love the fall. My favorite season
Yeah,
as well.
100%.
Ready for the last question?
Yes.
Do it, last one. Right, but before the last question, I'm going to ask a question in 2 parts. The first part of the question is, through your career working in a hospice, tell me a moment or a situation that you're never going to forget, that always going to have a special place in your heart. And the other part of the question is, since you start your career as a minister, this year, tell me so far the highlights of your, this journey that you start, something that it's already touched you somehow.
Okay. So, with the hospice, I remember my first hospice job with the company that I worked for at the time. I remember very vividly a patient that was very Southern. He kind of reminded me of my grandfather on
Wow.
my mom's side that taught me how to golf. He was a very like rough around the edges kind of guy,
Right.
but he had this like sensitivity about certain things too. And
Hmm?
one of the things he had a real sensitivity about was Hank Williams. Hank Williams was a country artist from Alabama, from
Right.
around Montgomery, and he loved listening to Hank Williams music. And so
Uh-huh.
I would go every week and we would listen to Hank Williams song and sing Hank Williams songs together. and he had a terminal diagnosis of lung cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I wear cowboy boots a lot, most always. Not today, but most of the time I have cowboy boots on, and so he would love. He's like, there's nothing better than a preacher that wears cowboy boots, and so it was just so affirming for him, and also affirming for my calling, because it came so early in my chaplain career.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave him such a peace with dying. And so it really opened my eyes to how useful a chaplain can be in the dying process. And I will always remember him very vividly, being one of my first patients that I had, and sharing such a tight bond. He was only on service for probably 3 months, but it was so delightful getting to visit with him every week. With the church, I would say the thing that has been most affirming has been just how accepting and warm I've been received by the congregation.
Wow.
These people are amazing human beings. They're open-minded. They're rock solid in their faith. They want to be true to the traditions that shape their lives, but they also want to be open and inclusive and loving and kind, and figure out how can we live as a people of faith in the 21st century with all these challenges that we face. What are some ways we can face these challenges? And they're eager to do that, and they want to do it. And I have felt very accepted and encouraged, because they've accepted me and loved me so well so quickly.
Wow.
I didn't know that it would happen this way. I mean, it could have been filled with a bunch of jerks.
Mm-hmm.
Thankfully, the bishop didn't appoint me to such a church. That was true about. And so I'm very, very grateful for the synod I work in, for the bishop and the people I serve. You know, it's tremendous. I can't overemphasize how grateful.
And I can see all of them watch this interview right now and saying, actually, we are so happy to have you around. I'm sure they are thinking that right now. I'm sure.
They say that all the time. And it's so affirming and accepting. And it's like, I've been in spaces where people are like, I don't know that we're so glad to have you around. You know, you're so challenging. You ask hard questions, and like, you know, like you don't just say yes, sir, and just go along with things. Like, I like to really. I'm all about kindness first, but I love digging deep into things and thinking about things on a deeper level. Right. We don't always get that in church.
Mm-hmm.
Questions are not always welcome in church, but it is at our church, and I'm so grateful. And so to be welcome, and for people to be like, oh, we're so glad you're around, to have you, we're lucky. I'm like, no, I'm not. You're not lucky. I'm lucky. You know, so that's wonderful.
Amazing. Very good. Last question is, what's something you always want to do but you're scared of?
Oh, Lord, I'm scared of heights. I am terrified of heights. Not necessarily like in a plane sense, because I feel stability.
Right.
Like mountain climbing.
Your face.
Holy cow. Like how wonderful it would feel to do that, but the terror I feel just thinking about it.
That's funny.
Or like bungee jumping.
Ah. Oh my God. I
get filled with terror just thinking about it.
Me too, actually. I hope one day I'll be able to do it, but trust me, I'm not ready yet for it.
Maybe if someone does tell me my date of death, I'll go the day before, because I know I'm not going to die that day.
Yeah. I love that.
I'll
Okay.
go bungee jumping more often if somebody tells me my actual date of death.
You're gonna go like, okay, I can just fly right now, even without the protection.
Right.
I can jump. So
Exactly. I know I'm not dying today, so I'm good.
that's funny. Right, so then, yet, let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking.
Okay.
Let's start with religion.
Spirituality.
Money.
Greed.
Fear.
Anxiety.
Sex.
A good thing.
Family.
Good. Connection.
Love.
Oh, sincere.
Life.
Oh, liberation. Freedom.
Politics.
Politics. Muddy.
One word for friendship.
Love.
Desire.
Ooh, passion.
Regret.
Despair.
Success.
A challenge.
Wish.
Hope.
One word for happiness.
Happiness. Joy.
One word for Alabama.
Oh, crimson.
Very proud.
Yes, absolutely.
One word for USA.
Melting.
And the
Or
last
mixture. Mixture.
mixture. Okay. And the last one now, God. One word.
Love.
Amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your partner for a coffee, and I'm going to ask your partner, define Jamie in one positive word and one negative word only. What your partner would say.
He would say that I'm very loving,
Mm-hmm.
but messy.
What's the
I can be disorganized at times.
What's the biggest difference between both of you and the biggest similarity?
The biggest difference, our personalities are completely different. He is very pragmatic, like let's just get cut to the chase kind of guy.
Right.
I'm very idealistic,
Mhm.
hopeful, and but we both share the same desired outcome.
Amazing.
We're both people of faith,
Mm-hmm.
and so we both believe that faith is an essential part of our lives. How that gets manifested just looks different.
I like that. And that's what the beauty is, you know what I mean? That's the beauty of a relationship.
Oh, it
Absolutely.
is. I mean, it's so true. It makes things challenging but fun.
I think if it would be just skies, beautiful flowers, it would be a bit boring. You need the thing there to crash a little bit, to make spice.
100%. 100%. He has pushed me tremendously because I'm the type of person that can find joy in anything I do, for the
Mm-hmm.
most part.
Right.
But he's like, oh, dream bigger. You know, like dream for more, plan for more, hope for more. You know, go for more. And so that's good to have too. You know.
Absolutely. Let's play now, Jamie, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. All right, Jamie, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, so tell me about your spirituality, what that looks like for you. I didn't say religion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're a completely different thing, right? I love the question because when you're talking about religion through your journey back in Brazil when I was growing up, my mom thought I would be a priest, and I'll tell you why. She never pushed me to go to the church. She never, parents tend to kind of, direct you to the church. She never asked me. I was literally going to the church every Sunday. I loved it. I felt peace. I think when you go to, I think, growing up as Catholic, I remember like now as an adult, when I look back during the mass, it was a performance. When you see a mass happen, it's like a performance. You see the priest there. You know what I mean? And I was so fascinated
Oh yeah.
also fascinated about the whole atmosphere. And I was singing the choir. I was helping the priest during the math. This voice who helps them, and I loved it. And for me, it was a joy. And again, back to your question now, that for me is religion, not about, for you, spirituality is something personal, it's something about you enjoying. It doesn't matter what. For example, I was going to church, yeah. I believe in God. For me, you can call universe, God, you can call different things. But the
Mhm.
fact that I was in a place where I was happy. It was something that, was pulling me. That was like, wow, I love being here. Again, I didn't have the gift of being a priest. I don't think I could be, but my mom misunderstood because I was so in love going to the church. I was so connected with. But for me, being spiritual, it's something about, it's very personal. It's something about being, looking in a way where you mentioned about kindness. Is for me, being spiritual is about, this feeling when you feel happy about something, when something you do something good for someone, or someone do something good to you. This beautiful feeling you feel. That's for me, being spiritual. It's about spreading something nice in the
Mhm.
world from people around you, or for people that you don't know, but somehow, I'm gonna actually, this week I was going to work, and I was sitting in the bus, and this lady, and I just sneezed twice, like very, very discreet. I was sneezing, and she literally opened her bag and she gave me a tissue. I was like, oh my God, no, it's fine, I don't need. For me, that was like, she was a stranger, and I felt so, um you know happy about that. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh my
Mhm.
God. So for
Mhm.
me, that's, this feeling, for me, spirituality is, it's something connecting with you, with a higher power, that it can brings you a feeling of kindness, of love, or being, helpful somehow, connect with people. So for me, it's all about being spiritual. There's a connection that you need. You don't need to be related to religion. And again, religion, it's a good thing as well. It's not a bad thing, religion. You can connect with different religion. If it brings you happiness, if it brings you peace, if it brings you love, why not? But for me, personally, for me, it's all about you being a good person, or trying to be a good person every single day. So for me, that's
Amen.
the meaning. Yes, amen. That's it. For
Amen.
me, the definition of being spiritual. Yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. When you think about Alabama, or when you think about the South, or what do you think about?
Right, good question. You know what? I had so many guests here on the show, like over 1,000 guests on the show, and of course, most of my guests, they are from the U.S. Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I had so many guests from the South as well, like from the South, and they educated me. Yeah, they educate me a
Mhm.
lot about the
Mhm.
South, about,
Mhm.
the the way that people see, actually I had people from Atlanta, and they told me, really, Atlanta is like a blue spot
A
around your head,
blueberry.
at the blueberry. And I was fascinated about it. So when I think about Alabama, like, just I had one or two people from there. But when I think about the South, based on my interviews or my education that my guests educate me, it's somewhere a bit can be challenging, because people, they tend to, to maybe, regarding religion, politics, it can be a little
Mhm.
bit
Mhm.
difficult from the LGBTQ plus community. It's not easy, but at the same time as
True.
well, there is a beauty about the accent, about something about the South that people has, that is unique. And I think that's what spot out about the South. But Alabama, it's
Definitely.
okay. Now when I think about Alabama, I'm gonna think about a very friendly guy called Jamie that be on the show, and that's it. And Dolly Park, the singer as well.
Dolly Parton.
Of course, of course. So now that's it. When I'm well educated now about Alabama and the
Yeah.
South.
You you can say Crimson. That works too.
Okay, Crimson.
Crimson.
Okay, that's it. That's it.
And
Now,
everybody will know what you're talking about,
now I
even
pass
if
the.
they're in California or in Italy.
Yeah.
Um, I went to Italy one time, and they had an Alabama elephant painted on the side of a building, and it said "Roll Tide." And so believe it or not, it's made its way around the world.
Look how proud you are. Look your face. How proud. Now you are educating the whole world right now through this interview, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. And love is red. You know, and for me, it's like red because it's passionate and it's kind, it's considerate, it's open, but it always works to be better, you know, at the same time. And so,
Absolutely.
Crimson.
Amazing.
Last question. So tell me about what prompted you to do these interviews? What about you and your experience made you want to do this?
I think, you know, back in 2020, when the world went upside down, yeah, regarding the COVID crisis, you know, at the time, I think it was a very dark place with the sadness, not knowing. Everyone was a bit, you know, everyone was facing a lot of challenges. But at the same time as well, I think a lot of people came with new ideas. They reinvent themselves. They find a way to survive.
Yeah.
Before the COVID, I was already thinking about doing a show where I could connect with people and express myself, but I didn't know what. I didn't know what I could do. One day, here in England, in London, you could leave the house once a day during the COVID, once a day for exercise, to run in the
Once a
park.
day.
Once a day
Okay.
for exercise. Guess what? I was going for
How
a
did they
run.
know you left more than once? Like, how did they track that?
You know what? I think, you know, the British people, they tend to be very restrict about rules. You know, like,
Oh, okay. Oh,
I
okay.
think I'm educating you right now, yeah?
You are.
So, yes,
Because
I
it's
think,
not like that in the South, by the way.
oh my God, imagine the whole people from the South now rolling their eyes after you said that.
No, they know what I'm talking about because, like, yeah, like Southern hospitality, like everyone's welcome until you're not. You know what I mean? Rules are rules. Rules are kind of like flexible.
I see. I see. Okay. Okay. I'm having a different.
But so I can see the British, you know, like, okay, you can only leave one time, and so they're gonna say, okay, I've been out once, I can't go out anymore. People in the South will be like, oh, this is my first time out. I've been out 5 times today.
Amazing. So yeah, Jamie, I think at the Magic Box, I went for a run in the park, and this idea came along, and I'm so grateful that this idea came along to me. I think I'm meant to be doing the Magic Box. If I would see someone doing it, I would be like, oh my God, I'd love to be doing this show. So I think the Magic Box was made for me for some reason. I'm so grateful every day that I'm able to connect with so amazing people around the world, and let my guests express themselves as well. And
You're doing a great job. I mean, you're creating conversation and dialogue about individual experiences, and that's what a beautiful thing that is.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you and everyone who participate on the show. I think it's a gift every single day when I do the interview. But before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Positive message. Never give up.
Mm-hmm.
Adversity is not a bad thing. Adversity is an opportunity to show just how truly tough and committed you are. We tend to think of adversity as in a negative way, but really adversity is a beautiful thing. It's not fun all the time, but it's a beautiful gift to us that teaches us to keep moving forward, to never give up, to keep swimming, to keep moving forward, even if we have to crawl. You know, like you keep moving forward. And so I would just say, never give up, never stop dreaming, never stop trying to do the best you can, and to move forward. Don't give up.
Amazing, amazing. Good luck tonight with your game, okay? Hopefully,
Roll Tide, baby. Well. Let's do this.
Regards to your friends and your partner, and you keep in touch. It was a pleasure, okay? Thank you so much. Okay?
Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye. See you next time.